Hello, my friends. Welcome to another one of those lessons learned. You know you love to hear these lessons learned. We have with us our friend Anne, who just disseminated the exam a couple of days ago. And I'm really so excited because we're there right from the beginning with Anne, going through the process. And Anne is a product owner, right, Anne?
Correct.
And a lot of this stuff you actually do in your real world.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to have you here. How does it feel to be a PMP?
Oh, Phil, when I tell you, know how some people that say, oh, it feels like a weight lifted off your shoulder. I feel like I have a whole village
Oh,
lifted
dear.
off of my shoulder because you already know, Phil, I was so nervous. I was like always panicking. I'm like, what if I don't pass? What if I don't pass? And Chandra was like, you'll be fine. All the other girls, Marisol, April, Solange, Paige, it was like, you're ready, move your test up. And I couldn't move it up because of work. So,
Mhm.
we were doing planning for my job so that way I could provide the work from the business to the Scrum team.
Mhm.
So I could not miss any days from work because I had to obtain the information I could update the product backlog for my Scrum team.
Wow.
So I couldn't move it up, but then at the same time, I felt like it was like information overload. I couldn't wait to
Yeah.
get this information out of my head.
Get it out of your head.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
So for
Yeah.
those who don't know on the call, Anne is a product owner and you double as a project manager?
Yes.
Yeah, so double duty. So it's kind of heavy stuff she's talking about. But I'm really excited to have Anne here today. So Anne, let's jump straight into it. Anne goes into the test center, right?
Yes.
And sits down, and the question one pops up on the screen. How is Anne feeling?
Nervous. So the thing is, I did not know because I was talking to Chandra because I had called her after I passed. And I told her, I said, I ran out of time. And, like the time was just like running out on me. And I had so many questions to answer. So I didn't know the minute that they sign you in, your time is starting.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is like I said, you know what, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna write down. I don't know how I remember the whole 49 process, but I wrote the whole thing out. I wrote the 49 process out. I wrote the whole forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. I wrote everything out, Phil, on the
Oh my
little
gosh.
the white eraser board. Actually, where it came from, I don't know, but it showed up on
Wow.
the exam. And then I started taking the exam. Before I started, I started praying. I said, Lord, it's your girl. My birthday is next week. It would be bad if I fail. You don't want me to be sad on my birthday.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
so please, take the wheel or whatever. And so then I started taking the exam. I'm like, okay. Then some of the questions, I'm like, this is Phil's exam. Like literally, some of the things that's on the mock is on the exam.
For real.
It may not say like Angela and yours says Joanne, but it's the same thing.
Oh
It's the
dear.
exact same thing. I'm
That's
sorry,
funny.
my dog.
Aw, let doggy celebrate. What's your dog's name?
Stitch, you see him?
Stitch. Aw. Aw, look at him. He's happy his mommy's passed. I don't blame him for gate crashing. He's welcome. Yeah, my goodness. So that's very interesting. So you've shared a very important lesson, which is don't do the brain dump because you're going to spend your time.
Yes.
And how many minutes do you spend on that brain dump?
I don't even know, Phil, to be honest with you. And it's like, you get a break after every 60 questions. So the first break, I just ran to the bathroom, drank some water, and came back and started my exam. The second break, I was like, no, I don't want another break. I just want to finish it. Ooh. And then so something told me, like I looked at the questions, I had like 40 questions left, and something told me, look at the time, I only had 10 minutes.
What?
I was like, how am I going to answer 40 questions in 10 minutes? So I said, you know what? I'm not going to read the questions. Let me just read the answers. So anything that said, train the staff or open communication with a stakeholder or anything that's like that, I said, yep, you're coming with me. Yep. I said, Lord, please let these answers pop out. And wow. I'm just like selecting the answers. And when I was getting ready to select the last answer, that's when it said time's up, right on my last answer. Yes.
And that is crazy. But the
I
funny
know.
thing is, hadn't we talked about people that this happened to and I told you what they did? So it actually ended up helping you.
It did. And my heart was racing. My hands were shaking. I was like, I came too far to fail. Like I
40
locked
questions in
myself
10
up.
minutes.
Yeah. I locked
That's
myself
it.
in the house for a whole month studying. I said, Lord, I came too far to fail. And so before I hit submit, I was like, Lord, it's your girl again.
Take the wheel and drive fast. Don't stop.
Said, yeah, I was like, you don't want me to be sad, Lord. You don't want me to be sad on my
Oh my
birthday.
goodness.
And I just hit submit and I saw a big congratulations and tears just
Wow.
came rolling down my eyes.
Aw.
I was like, and I called the one of the test people and I said, what does this say? What does this say? She said, it says congratulations. She read it. And I said, read it again because it's not registered. So she looked at me, she tapped me on the shoulder. She said, baby, you passed.
Aw.
Yeah, she was
Aw.
like, now get up so I can clean up so the next time they come and take their test. It's just so unreal, Phil.
Wow,
So
crazy. Crazy stuff. My goodness. Well, thank you for sharing that very dramatic experience.
yeah.
I mean, I've not heard it that bad. 10 minutes and 40 questions?
Yes, 10 minutes with 40 questions.
So who amongst us can do the quick calculation? How many seconds does she have for each question at that rate? Let me ask our education expert, Jacqueline. Because your brain is probably figuring it out quicker than any of us. Huh?
Math was not my
15
forte.
seconds.
Boom.
15 seconds per question.
Thank you.
15. Oh my gosh.
That's impressive.
I'm telling you anything, because I mean, at the end of the day, like there's a lot of questions that says, you know, bring it up to leadership or punish the team. And no. So those
and I
things
already told you anything that says punish, coercion is wrong.
Yeah. So that was easy for me to pick the answers.
The really cool thing, so these folks here, they haven't experienced it. I'll just be straight up honest. So this one is called PMP Exam Mindset. It's a book. I really haven't given this book to a lot of people, but Anne was in a class where I broke down the mindset. So she has the mindset. And I'm really so proud of you that you decided to ditch the questions and go after the answers, because that's how to do it. And you just look for the answers that are out of whack and not in alignment with the mindset. So I'm really excited. Let's ask our friends here. Our friends probably have questions. Can you put the questions? Okay, they say congratulations. Giovanni says so proud. Frank says congrats. Melinda says congrats. So why don't you put any questions or just ask the question? Frank, Melinda, Jacqueline, Joe, you got any questions for our guru to answer for you?
Let me move somewhere where it's more light.
There you go.
So Anne, I want to ask a question.
Yes.
That is regarding the 40 questions in 10 minutes. Did you say that you were not looking at the questions, but glancing through the answers and establish correlation or delete accordingly, then you make a choice?
Right, because like I said, you know, some of the answers, now there's some that if I would have read the question, then I probably would have selected the correct answer. But like the ones that, you know, that says, you know, as a project manager, what do you do? Like those were easy because they would give you answers like, you know, bring it up to leadership or ask a sponsor for assistance. Like, no, you're the project manager, so you should have the answers for everything, unless it's something that is really, really difficult and you really, really cannot do as a project manager. So that's what made it much easy for me to select the answers. Now, the ones that had like one sentence, so I try to hairpin speed read, you know, through it to see so I could select the right answer, but I did not go back and check anything. I said, I do not have time.
And honestly, that is exactly what I train folks to be able to do, which is why there's a book dedicated to it that people who aren't in this course can experience. It's called PMP Exam Mindset. And the key goal of this book is to get you into the mantras. I taught them 36 mantras for the exam across people, process, business. And I'm so proud of you, Anne, that you carried out because a lot of folks, they wouldn't even know what to do. They just end up not completing it. Well, I can't finish all 40, I'm doomed. And they would be doomed. But
the mindset is when I tell you the mindset is very important. Oh, and another thing where I just like wanted to beat myself up, I wrote down the process and none of them questions was on there.
Yeah.
Nothing from the process. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to not know the process. You should know, because they'll ask you questions that, you're in the execution phase or whatever, blah, blah. As a project manager, what you should have done, or what do you do now, or what do you do next? So if you know what phase you're in, okay, what is it that you should have done, or what you do now, or what you should do next. So that's what makes it easy, but don't memorize it. Just know it.
Thank you, Anne. Let's talk about that. So if I'm a project manager and I'm in the closing process group, or let's say they use the obtuse language, you're in the closing phase. As a project manager, I should know what should I know if I'm in closing?
Like, you should know, like, okay, what is it that you do when you're closing a project? Like, what is it, everything that you need to do? Or prior to closing the project, what you should have done? Or if like you close the project, but the stakeholder was not satisfied with the quality, what you should have done as a project manager. So knowing like the documents, and also, like I said, the process is very important, but don't memorize it. Just know what phase you in, and that will help out a lot. Like when Phil says, I prefer eating mangoes cold, that that helped. I saw 6 Cubans quietly rolling cigars, really puffing smoke. That really helps. I even studied a phone number, 766 6363, what is it?
73
No, 766-436-3734.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're good. Good.
So I even learned that for the knowledge areas and everything, and also I learned the zip code, 224-10-12-1.
Yeah.
So I know I had everything there for me to remember, but don't waste your time writing that thing down, because
don't write
I
it. Yeah.
wanted to kill myself. I would have had time. I would have had time.
Oh dear. So keep it in your head, but we're not saying it's a waste of time. I'm so proud of you to have gotten into the 49, because in the real world, you are now able to move pawns and things around as you see fit on any project, because you know the full landscape. There's nothing a project is going to present to you that is outside of these 49, and then coupled with your understanding of Agile, just makes you ridiculously powerful. So I'm really proud of you for that. And I really want the folks on the call to get the essence of what you're saying, which is just don't write it down, but there's value in knowing it, right?
Yeah, it's good to know, because it's going to tell you're in the execution phase, or you just completed planning, and you notice this was missing or whatever, as a project manager, like what should you have done, or what do you do? Like that's all it asks you. What you have done, what do you do now, and what do you do next? That's all they ask you. Every question ends with that. So it's important to know the phase so you can know what you should do.
Very helpful. Frank has a question. How would you describe the mix of the exam via or viz predictive, agile, and hybrid? If you were going to give them, is it 33, 33, 33, or is it 50, 25, 25? What would the mix be?
I had a lot of agile. And predictive. Not predictive, agile and hybrid. I had a lot of agile and hybrid. And it doesn't tell you exactly that you're in agile, or it doesn't tell you exactly, in predictive, but some of them will say, the company is transitioned to agile.
And just to make sure, for the disclaimer, because I know PMI, they're very big on keeping things as vanilla as possible. Right. So we're going to use obtuse language that is not necessarily what they said.
Right.
But just to give an example. So let's give an example of just a prototype of what it could be. So assume they say you're a project manager on a project, you've just completed executing. What should you have done before moving to the next phase? That kind of thing. Or you're a project manager, your schedule had issues, you're late. What could you have done to prevent it? that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. It's those type of things. Everything, majority of it is situational. So, but like I said, just know the process, because you do have to know where you're at. You do. You have to know where you're at in order for you to understand what they're asking you.
Okay, so Agile, going back to Frank's question, and I know you're going to hit it, but you were telling us, you're very kind to tell us, they're not going to tell you all the time that it's predictive, or all the time it's Agile. You got to know, you got to figure out that, oh, it's probably hybrid. So what percentage, if you were just going to give it some just very quick breakdown, what would you say percentage-wise was Agile?
Agile, I would say mine was like about 50%. I think I had the same exam as Chandra.
30%?
Yeah, 50. I would say
50.
probably like, yeah, it was a lot of Agile for me, at least for what I thought.
And then what about hybrid?
I would probably say about 80. I mean 30.
Wow. So predictive was very minuscule for you, huh?
Yeah, for me it was.
Wow. That's crazy. And you know, some of our friends from other classes, they said predictive was up to 40%. We've heard people say that. So you just never know where these crazy exam people are going to come from.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't
Oh
know.
my gosh. So what would you advise as far as studying based on your experience? Would you say you spent too much time in the predictive aspect compared to what you got?
No, because to be honest with you, Phil, the fact that I had so much time to study, I studied everything. And like I said, I was studying every single day. I went to sleep listening to Phil podcasts. I was even repeating the podcast, even like the little skits that you had with the doctor that was upset, like, watching you on TV. But I had a whole month to study after I was complete with Phil's class. So I studied literally everything. And if you see my office, you can see behind me, like I have like papers.
Wow, yeah.
On the wall. And I even have the chart on my closet door.
Good. Well done.
So it's like I studied because I did not know what they were going to ask me, what type of exam I was going to have. I just wanted to be prepared all the way around. But for me, Agile and Scrum was very easy because I do it now.
Yeah.
But prior to coming to Phil class, I understood why I was doing it. But before, it's like, you go to a job, okay, this is what we're doing, but we don't know why we're doing it. Yeah. So Phil breaks it down and I'm like, oh, okay, so now I know why am I doing this? And it makes it much easier and where I could communicate better with my team. I didn't know what I was doing. I just know I was doing Agile.
Yeah. Good stuff. Frank says, and I want to take this question with you, Anne, but Frank says, which area of the exam proved stubborn or difficult to crack? And I'm just going to say from a higher level, it's really getting the mindset, because if you get the mindset, you can unlock everything, right, Anne?
Yes, the mindset is very important. And like I said, that's what helped me to answer those last 40 questions.
I'm so happy about that.
The mindset.
Wow.
The mindset.
Wow. Okay, remember, another one from Frank.
Show, you're in charge. You're in charge. It's your show. You run the show and you make sure everybody who is in your production, they're okay. It's your job to protect them.
Exactly. And you folks will learn the mindset. Some of them are coming for the immersion. So, Anne, let's talk about the immersion real quick before we go to Frank's next question. You were in the immersion course a couple of weeks ago or so. Yeah. How did that help prepare you? Did you get more confident afterwards or what?
I did, because, my area of weakness, to be honest with you, Phil, was risk. Like risk was not sticking with me. I could read about risk. I could watch videos about risk and in my mind just go blank. I got everything. I got the procurement. I got everything, but risk was not sticking. And so when I took your class and I was like, okay, I'm getting it. And then also, with the study groups, I was like, okay, the lady Chandra was explaining it to me. So I was like, okay. But the immersion class, it really, really helped, especially like if you're so close to your exam date and you just have, some gaps that you want to fill. Do it.
Thank you for that. We have one tomorrow. Our friends here, some of them are going to be on that. And hopefully that will add more to their confidence. Another one from Frank. Overall, which areas would you advise a candidate to concentrate while preparing for the exam? So it's a blank slate. What would you say?
The Agile practice guide. The Agile practice guide. The PMBOK was in there. Like for me, it was in there, but the Agile practice guide, read it. Listen to the video where Phil did the course, going through the whole Agile practice guide. I watched that thing over. I had my phone in the shower, just watching it over and over and over again. The Agile practice guide, guys, read it. Read it. And listen to like the different videos that he have on the podcast where he breaks down every chapter, or even the audible where I was listening to that even while I was out getting my hair done, whatever. Just
I think, Phil, those your podcasts is gonna be my new girlfriend.
Yeah, it will.
Oh dear.
It will. I had Phil in my car, my house. I have 3 Alexa, and Phil was on every one. I have bedroom, office, and kitchen. I'm cooking. I'm listening to Phil. I'm driving. Listening to Phil. Yeah.
You did well.
Practice guide.
That's how to do it.
Read it.
Where do you get these podcasts?
Well, this was given to everyone, Melinda. We can resend it to you. So it's called the Project Management Audio Digest. And the purpose is to help anyone getting ready for the exam have audio that they're immersed into. So the likes of Judge Judy and Jerry and Dr. Phil and all those guys, I love watching them, but you can't sustain your PMP prep with those jokers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
please send me that. I don't have it.
Okay, I'll make sure I resend it to you. Let's do that towards the end of the session. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but that the audio, it really helped. The podcast helped. The YouTube videos, those really help as well. But the Agile practice guide, guys, read.
And let's talk about the momentum that ensued afterwards, because people on the call, they heard you mention Chandra. They need to understand who Chandra is. So she's one of our awesome PMP gurus who took it upon herself, along with the other folks from our earlier study groups, to create a support system through a study group, study network for people getting ready for the exam. And that's what I implore people in this class to do. Create your own support system to help each other as a study group. So, Anne, you folks were meeting 3 times a week. When were you meeting?
It was Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then I also had a one-on-one session with Chandra, but it was mostly like to calm me down. Because Chandra was like, stop reading the book. Don't do anything. Just listen to audio. That's it. Don't read nothing else. You're ready. You're ready. You don't want to go in there where you studied so much and then you just go blank. It's because it's like everything. I was just repeating everything. Like I knew everything. But the study group was a big, big help, because when you hear other people talking it out and trying to understand the same questions that you probably had in your mind, you didn't want to say. And then when you take an exam, you're like, oh, okay, you could hear these people's voices in your head. Like, okay, I remember when we was talking about this and that. So this study group was very, very helpful. It was
absolutely. Really- and it's kind of been a rite of passage, because when folks are leaving the class, they usually bring a buddy of theirs in, at least someone or two bring a buddy in, and then they feel obligated to help sustain the efforts of the group. So now Anne has brought her friend Joe in. I know you're not going to leave Joe alone. Hello. No, so the study group, so Anne is probably going to visit the study group to help you folks out at some point when we get to that point.
Right.
That's how it works.
I'll be there.
Thank you, Anne.
I'll share my wall of knowledge with you guys.
May I ask a quick question?
Go for it.
Again, Anne, you know how proud I am of you. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see you and give you a hug in person. What would you say that you did as part of your study process that if you were to prepare again, that you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that this time around? What was not of value at all?
To be honest with you, everything was of value.
Okay.
Everything I did was of value because, like I said, you don't know what type of exam you're going to get, because from our study group, almost everybody had a different version of the exam. So it's like, you don't know, you really don't know. So you want to know a little bit about everything, just so that way you make sure that you are prepared for whatever questions they throw your way, because you really don't know.
So, and to that effect, and no amount of comparing notes to other folks would have prepared you for the crazy 40 questions in 10 minutes. But we prepared you enough with enough insight to other students who had experienced similar that were not in your immediate study group. And now these folks have heard they're going to be able to roll with it. I saw Frank said, you didn't read the questions. How do you pull that off? But Frank, the way she pulled it off is, I am going to teach you how to answer questions, even if you didn't read the question, because you'll be able to use process of elimination to get rid of the answer.
I really look forward to that. I need it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Frank, I'm not saying for you to do it for your whole entire
No. I wouldn't do that. That is a management by exception. You apply it when the
There you go. There you go. There you go, Frank. Good.
Can I reiterate something that Anne said? Because, you know, I'm in this because my friend Rachel took it and passed the exam and recommended Phil.
Exactly.
And she actually found Phil, I think, through your podcast. That's how she found you. And then she reached out to you wanting to know more, and that's how she ended up taking your course. So the podcasts, she also said, were absolutely essential to her soaking in that information. And that's like the one thing she's recommended to me was podcast, listen, watch videos, like all. So I appreciate that you said that those were helpful for you.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in on that, Jacqueline.
You mean my new girlfriend?
Say it again.
You mean my new girlfriend?
He calls the podcast his new girlfriend, which is funny.
Oh yeah.
But just so that you know, this is a finite collection, right? This collection is really good for people struggling, especially with predictive. But to go to what Rachel refers to, I actually have an extension, which I've shared with everyone here, which is like a living, breathing version of my initial audio digest, which is called the Pmp Exam Radio Show. And I play music on the radio show behind a lot of what I say. And it can be a little bit unfiltered. So PMI, hey, go watch it because you hear all the terrible things I say about you. But to be quite serious, you could go to pmradio.org. If you go to pmradio.org, you can just, on your iPhone, please subscribe to it and let people know how awesome your buddy Phil is while you're at it.
Oh, and then Phil, I have something to tell you about. You have a rap song?
Yeah, I do. I have an Agile rap.
Phil, you tried. I'll give it to you. When I heard the rap, I was like, is that Phil? I was like, oh, Lord. I said, he tried. It was entertaining.
You got to be agile. I use every platform possible to spread the Agile gospel. People got to hear about, you know. Yeah. So please go on to pmradio.org and just sign up. You know, sign up and you can, you get reminders. And anytime a reminder comes up, you go, oh my goodness, how many more weeks with this guy? Let me just get this thing done. You know, I keep popping up on your phone, right? So if you got an iPhone, I did a little bit of research today. I found out that 66% of the people who listen to me are on an iPhone, right? So if you got an iPhone or you got a Samsung, just go to Spotify. If you cannot download the Apple stuff, just listen, or Google, just any old browser. The reason is, be a creature of habit with all this stuff and just get it done in the next 6 weeks and move on. You know, I'm really happy Anne is certified, because it got to a point I'm like, Anne is so busy. Oh my gosh, her job. Is she going to take this exam when she said she will? And she did.
Yeah, I told myself I have to get it done this month, because that was like a gift for myself for my birthday. Because my birthday, I was like, I have to get this done. I've been putting this thing back for so long because I got my degree in project management back in 2016, but I never sat
Wow.
for an exam because I'm like, oh, I just keep getting hired without it. But it's like now, you know, a lot of jobs that you do want, they're not going to pick you because one of the things that they ask for is for you to be PM certified. So I was like, you know what? If I want to move up in the ladder, this is something I have to do. And so that was a goal of mine for this year, and I made sure I accomplished it, and I did.
You're going to blow the lid off everything. And so you got a degree in project management. You're now PMP, you're a product owner. You got Agile knowledge to the max. You look, let them just promote you to VP tomorrow, if not already, right? Let's work on that. Seriously.
I accept it, Phil. I accept it. Let's speak it into existence.
There you go. Let's speak to your CEO and maybe they create a chief project officer or something. Do they have so I know they were thinking of going into, and I'm going to keep it confidential, but do they have a PMO still or not? Are they going to have an office, a value office, something?
I don't know if in the future, but right now, no.
We know where they're headed, and we'll keep that out of the.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
different. But anyway, I'm really so excited and elated, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Joe, for coordinating all of this. Joe says, and for VP, yeah, and for VP, absolutely.
Yeah, and do all the practice exams, guys. Do them. It doesn't matter what score you get on them, even for the mock exam. It doesn't matter. It just puts you in that mindset for you to be prepared to take the exam, because sitting down for 4 hours is not my thing. It is not, and that's why I'm glad I went to a testing center, because I get distracted so easily. That's what I remember. Oh, I got these chips in the pantry. Oh, you know. But then when you in there, they give you earplugs and headphones, and you just like focus, no distraction, no window to look out of, and watch the kids play outside. But do the exams, and I kid you not, it will make it much easier, because when you sit there and all you can hear is Phil, and all you could do is play back these practice exams that Phil does with you guys during the training. And you're like, oh, okay, I remember Phil talking about this. Oh, okay, even though it's not the exact same thing, but it's very, very similar. And Phil mock exam is harder than the actual exam. I'm gonna tell you now. Mock exam is harder than the actual exam.
And I have a quick question, because I love that you mentioned that you went to the testing center, because that's what I'm going to have to do, because it's the same for me, chips in the cabinet. But when you were there, did you still take it on a computer, or did you have the ability to take it on paper?
No, everything is on
the computer. Okay.
Everything is on the computer.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and they do have paper-based exams, but they're more extensive for them to organize. So, you know, and you wouldn't get your result immediately, which could be another, you know. So reflections and advice. Hindsight is 2020. Is there anything you might have done differently now that you've seen the test? Would you have, if you could go to your 4 weeks ago self, would you have taken the exam any quicker, Anne?
I would, because the anxiety was killing me. I know I was ready. I just was not confident in myself as everybody else was, including you, Phil. But I would have, if it wasn't because of work, I would have taken it much sooner so I could get all of this information out of my head. That would be the only thing, just taking it sooner. Don't wait, and like once you're done with the program, if you feel like you're ready and you put like a good 2-3 weeks in, like just study on your own, just go for it. Don't sit there and let that information kill you, because that's what was going on with me. It was just killing me, and I just wanted to hurry up and get it over with. But like I said, I studied every day.
Wow.
Saturdays, I even missed my best friend engagement, wedding anniversary party. I was like, girl, listen, you have more anniversaries coming. I need to study. I let everybody know, like, don't bother me around this time to this time. Like, good. I just have to study. Even like me and Javania, we're sorority sisters. And even going to like our, group events, I'm playing Phil in my car.
That's how to do it.
I'm playing Phil in my car. It's like, even my boyfriend knows the formulas from listening to Phil. He's like, you playing Phil again? And I'm like, yep.
Oh my gosh.
And even And even had like an automated message from her phone when you would text her, I'm like preparing for my exam. I don't even recall the verbiage, but I was like, let me leave her alone. Like at the time.
Yep, I
So
turned it
she was
on.
all in.
Yeah, I
Wow.
turned it on and it said, hi family and friends, I'm currently studying for my exam. Please respect that. I love you, whatever I have put on there. And that way they know I was 100% focused for the whole entire month of April.
Wow. Wow. You really did well. Like I said, I was like, I hope her work doesn't just keep her from doing this thing. And you balanced it. So what's the secret? Because you had intense work and you were studying.
Yeah. So what I did was in between like meetings or when I had like no meeting schedule or whatever, I had Phil playing in the background.
Wow.
Because even though you're not listening, but you'll be surprised how much stuff you're picking up listening, having Phil playing in the background. So I had Phil playing, I had my books out and everything, like reviewing little things little by little in between meetings. So I made sure Phil was part of my schedule, my work schedule, and even after work.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. And let's go to these FAQs and then we'll take it out from here. But this is really great value because our friends here are going to know exactly what to do. So I know you read the Agile Practice Guide. Let's talk about the PMBOK Guide. What was your relationship like with the PMBOK Guide?
I read a few chapters, but I mostly read the back page, like
563 to 635.
Right. Everything like is there. Like you read that, I feel like you'll be okay. But if you don't understand something and you want some more explanation, then you would go to those other, within the chapters to get additional information. But everything is summarized is all there.
Great
from
stuff.
563 to 635.
Yeah, it's all there. And let's talk about another elephant in the room because PMI PMI said the 7th edition is now referenced. Let's be honest. How many times did I open the 7th edition in our training?
None.
I got to go to the 7th edition for the sake of those who don't know what it's like. So if you're going to choose one book between the 6th and the 7th that you refer to some degree, which one would it be? Just to clarify.
6.
There you go.
Because I do not own the 7th edition. The only way I know how the 7th edition looked like is because it was on YouTube from one of Phil's training. I do not own the 7th edition. Like I said, all I focus on was like the 563 to 6 whatever on
635.
the 635 and the PMBOK guide, and then the Agile Practice Guide.
There you go. And Anne, let's be, because I know some people are like, oh, well, I'm scared because I need more books. Let's be honest. So Anne, there's a lot of redundancy built into the course. You did get a PDF copy and I told you not to read it, right?
Yeah, you told me not to read it.
I said, just do the questions in the book.
Yes.
Were you able to get to the questions in that book?
I did. In between times, I would like my meetings as well.
Nice.
I even have like this, like I would write them like the answers on the card.
Good.
And so that way after my meetings, and I'll be like, okay, let me go ahead and, and see what I got right, what I got wrong or whatever. So I was always quizzing myself. Like
Wow.
the quizzes, they help because it gives you a better understanding of how these questions are going to be asked and to put you in that mindset. Do the quiz. I did every quiz except the 91 question quiz.
Wow, good.
I did every quiz, and there was another one that was extremely helpful for me. What was it? Where you had to match?
Yeah, the drag and drop.
Yes, that one. I love it. I did that
Good to know.
4 times. I love it.
Wow, that's good to know. So just so people know, Anne did not read this book, and Phil did not teach this book. I mentioned implicitly some of the principles, but that was it. The one that Anne is talking about is this, page 563 to 635. Very soon, this will be out of circulation because PMI is saying they're pulling the plug on production. They believe it's lived its worth, but honestly, I know this is more substantial than the 7th. And then we had so much redundancy. We also had this essentials book that we gave you in the very beginning. I'm not sure if you referred to that, did you? And throughout the course?
A little bit. Besides what you taught us in the class and whatever you had on YouTube, that was pretty much it. I started reading it, then I was like, you know what? I'm getting closer to my exam
There
date.
you go. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't have time to read that. If you're far out from your exam date, by all means, go ahead and read it because it summarized both books. What Phil have in his book. But no, I was mostly focused on the Agile Practice Guide, those pages in the PMBOK, his podcast throughout the day. And even like when I'm laying down in bed before I fall asleep, I have one of the YouTube videos playing. Like I live, sleep, eat, dream, feel.
You're a great student and you were a great student. Thank you for doing those things because I try to tell folks, do these things and you'll get done in record time. And people are like, Phil, I don't even have time to eat. I'm like, well, you're going to have less and less time as the months go on. Just focus, get people in your family or in your life involved so that they can do some of the heavy lifting for you. Like folks that have a lot of kids, I say, ask other family members to help you and just get this thing done in 6 weeks and move on. That's my mantra. And I'm glad that you took it. And when did we finish the course, Anne? Was that in March?
The end of February.
End of February. So it's great time, roughly 7 weeks, if that, and you're done. And you never have to open that book the way you did ever again. You don't have to.
Yeah, and then you know what? You always, I don't care what anybody said, I don't have time. Yes, you do. Because while you're cooking, you could have Phil playing in the podcast. While you taking a shower, you listen to music on your phone, right?
Thank you.
Play Phil. You're driving to work, play Phil. Like, even though you don't have the book open, but you listen to Phil. So you always have time for something, even if you can't read or whatever, but you could, listen to the audios. Even sometimes when Phil would ask the questions and I'm listening to the YouTube, I'm like, Phil, I can't read the answers. Read the answers for me so I can pick them out. But you have time to listen. If you have time to listen to the radio, you have time to listen to Phil.
Yeah. Thank you,
May I ask
Ed.
a question?
Go for it.
In the spirit of Scrum, right? And to be completely, absolutely transparent, it's exciting that there's so many resources available to us that will make it more accessible for us to pass the exam, right? But at the same time, right now I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, and so in the spirit of Scrum and prioritization, how would you prioritize our tools and what to focus on? Like I'm guessing I pulled my Agile. I'm having issues with my camera, so sorry, you can't see me, but I pulled my Agile guide and it's about to go live by my bed until I take this exam, right? So I realize how important that is. But how would you prioritize all of the resources from spend time on this every day to maybe don't spend as much time, but it's important?
I didn't have that many Scrum questions. I really didn't. But at the same time, I didn't put too much focus into Scrum because that's what I do now. So it was easy for me to relate. Whatever Phil taught me in class, it was easy for me to relate in real life. So after I left Phil class, I probably read through the Scrum guide like one time because I'm already doing it. But to be honest with you, I probably had like 2 or 3 questions of Scrum. But everything else, like I said, that Agile practice guide is your Bible. Those pages I said in the PMBOK guide, really, really helpful. But the Scrum, I didn't have that many. But like I said, it's good to know a little bit about everything because you don't know which exam you're going to get. So you want to be prepared for whatever exam you're going to get.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, Giovanni, that the class, if you are in class fully present, and I really liked the fact that Anne was fully present in the class.
Yeah.
I relied on Anne a lot of times because other people in the class may not have had the experience she had in Agile in the real world. So I would ask her things from her real world and she would explain them and I would anchor them back to the Agile practice guide. So in terms of order, if you're in class every week fully engaged, that's one. The second one you want to prioritize is the concept of the Agile Practice Guide. Pages 8 and 9 have the Agile Manifesto in it. So important. The Agile Manifesto, the thinking, the disposition towards Agile. Page 14 has the Stacy Complexity Model. And then pages 18 and 19 have the Agile, predictive, iterative, incremental. Those things are like foundational. Those ones you need to know. And that's why I put the Agile Practice Guide as the second priority. Like, to use your language in the spirit of Agile, I like that. And then the third one, the Scrum Guide, know that. And then scrum.org, we have some quizzes there. Those are also helpful for you to know. But don't worry, every step of the way, I will be reminding you and guiding you to excellence. And just stay synced in, stay plugged in, and we'll get a study group started in a moment. And you're going to be good. The intent was for next week to begin getting more into predictive. So I know you heard Anne mention a lot of predictive things like risk and page 560. Don't worry about all that for this week. We are going to cover that stuff, but we need to get done with Agile first. When we get done with Agile, a good layer of Agile, then we can move into predictive next week. And you're going to be golden. So don't freak out over some of the things you've heard because you haven't been taught them yet. But if you're as present as she was, you're going to be good. Just be fully present in the class. Okay.
Mind you, when I was in field class, if it fell on one of the classes fell on Valentine's Day, I canceled Valentine's. I was like, I was like, because I feel like if I miss a class, I miss a lot. So I was like, you know what? I have to make sure I paid this money, and I paid Phil so he could teach me everything I need to know, or refresh my memory. So I am going to sit here and be dedicated. Valentine's Day is every day. I canceled Valentine's. I was like, no, I need to focus. And the principles is very, very important, because that's what helped me to answer those 40 questions. Because if you know those 12 principles, you're good.
Thank you. And
know them. Don't memorize them, just know them. Know how they work. Don't because memorizing is one thing, but if you don't know how to use it, it's like it defeats the purpose.
Agile Manifesto. Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much, Anne. We appreciate you. Congrats on your success. We look forward to hearing more about your exploits very soon.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I'll be with Chandra now, doing the study groups, helping her out with the study groups.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
You do know that you will get PDUs for all that, so it's definitely time well spent. Thank you.
Oh yeah, PMI already sent me the emails about PDUs. I'm like, can I take this all in, please? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys.
Thank you. You too.
All
Bye.
right.